This is
Cool.
Greg Troutline with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're here today with Clark Buffam, the COO of Marine Contractors. How did you come to become the COO of GMC?
So no, I'm a third generation licensed customs broker. Um, Went to work for the family business. My whole life, I was around freight forwarding and customs brokerage. So I had awareness about that industry. Went to school at Washington State University, graduated. Like, frankly, didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just went to the family business. So I did that. I got my broker's license, which was quite a chore. It took me a year studying and practical experience to get that. Through a series of events, I got hooked up with a global marine agency after that. So I started as a boarding agent, and a boarding agent are the guys that go up. They make all the arrangements for foreign cargo vessels to come into the US. They make sure that the vessel complies with Coast Guard filings, order pilots, tugs, lines, set up the terminal cargo operation. So I ended up doing that, and it ended up being a really, really good fit. So my background with trade compliance, understanding the international trade flow, and then understanding the cargo side from the importer's perspective allowed me to progress pretty quickly through that organization. In 2010, I got exposed to the upstream oil and gas industry, and that was amazing. I mean, that was during boom times where all was good. And this is a time when shipping was like in the gutter. You could get a Aframax tanker the size of the Empire State Building for like 18 grand a day. Yet you have these small specialized offshore vessels that were going on hire for six figures. So it was a no-brainer to me. So I got on the first flight to Houston, set up an integrated logistics services division for the global company. Then fast forward to 2014, 2015, industry doesn't start looking so good. We saw an opportunity in the market to offer expanded logistics services to the offshore industry. So we decided to take the leap and started Gulf Marine Contractors.
Just give us a brief overview, a by the numbers look at Gulf Marine Contractors today.
So by the numbers, so we're an integrated logistics provider. We serve as kind of like a lead logistics provider or 4PL for offshore either vessel operators or charters. By the numbers, so because we're a service industry, our employees are very, they're key in this. When you don't have a physical product, your product is your people. So we have 36 people today across 12 offices in 4 different countries. We've been able to go strong. During COVID alone, we've facilitated 655 crew changes. In doing that, we've done 655 COVID screens. Out of that, we had to further do 40 COVID tests, but luckily 0 crew members came back with a positive test. So all in all, pretty positive in a time where we kind of need some positive news.
Obviously, the marine ports and logistics business is broad. When you look at the markets you serve today, can you just give me an overview of the markets you serve?
So overall, we serve the offshore market. Now, that's from the outside, that's a market, but there's sub-markets within the offshore market. Primarily, we target and serve the marine seismic, the subsea survey market, the EPC market, and drilling contractors. These guys have highly mobile fleets. They have vessels working on relatively short-term projects. So what we do is we help them during the tendering phase. We give them project inputs, permitting inputs, cost inputs, logistics plans to bring their vessel and do their work scope in whatever country that they're working in. Once they win the project, then we manage that logistics scope for them.
Obviously the offshore energy industry, or more accurately, the offshore oil and gas industry, has been in a prolonged slump. How has this material impacted your organization?
It's given us really a good opportunity to help our clients. Our clients have had to scale back, go on live support. Before, when they had 5-10 person teams managing a vessel mobilization and support logistics, today a lot of these companies only have 1 person. With us, we click in and we help them with that surge staffing that they need when they do have projects. Then when they're off project, they can lean down pretty quickly. So in that respect, it's been good. As far as there's a perception out there too that the oil and gas industry is dead, and that's very not the case at all. I mean, you look at the numbers, in Port Fourchon alone, there are around 700 to 800 foreign vessel arrivals. This is a vessel coming in from a foreign point on the OCS into Fourchon a week.
Okay.
That's the same kind of numbers we had when we were operating and things were going good. Yeah, just because the market's depressed doesn't mean there's a lot of work out there.
Obviously, as you discussed, the offshore oil and gas market, it is still in business. It is still running. There will still be a very prolonged need for that. But when we look at offshore energy, we also obviously look at the prospects of offshore wind. So when you look at offshore wind, can you just give me an overview of the opportunity that you see in that market?
It's hands down the greatest opportunity of my lifetime in the maritime industry for the U.S. Hands down. The support that the installations are going to need and operating support, it's going to be huge. We just got to make sure that our legislators handle things correctly to not exclude the U.S. maritime industry from participating.
When you look at the challenges ahead to fully implement the promise of offshore wind, what do you count as the major challenges?
From our perspective as a maritime services provider who is positioning themselves to support this emerging industry, the biggest issue for us today is understanding the regulatory environment and how customs is going to apply the Jones Act principles to offshore wind. To date, that has not been defined, and it's in the process of being defined. But during that process, there's a lot of questions that just aren't being answered, and there's not a clear path to voice those concerns and to ask those questions.
Very good. So Clark, also, I know, or I realize that you also have a connection to COG Offshore, which I believe is a specialist in the logistics end of the offshore wind business. Can you discuss specifically the COG offering?
Yeah, so COG, it's a joint venture between Gulf Marine Contractors and COG, who's a marine warranty survey, engineering, and heavy lift management company. COG has been operating in the onshore renewables space since, I believe, 2015, and have a very strong name and are known among wind turbine manufacturers. So we decided to say, hey, let's go together, go to market together, and combine our services and set up an integrated services company to serve the emerging offshore renewables industry. So through COG Offshore, we're offering full integrated logistics support services to each level of the supply chain. So to the developer themselves, tier 1 contractors, as well as tier 2 contractors. Today, what does that look like? It's a lot of tender support, local cost input, developing local content strategies to support installation contractors, developers, et cetera. Tomorrow, what that's going to look like, hopefully, we evolve into a broad-based supplier for the wind industry.